What is going on, y'all? It is your girl Biola iyaKIN back with a new YouTube video. What is going on, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're feeling good in your life and body. We're going to continue with our non-performative yoga education series, coming at you with episode 2. If you didn't watch episode 1, definitely check it out somewhere up here or down here, where I'm basically providing a really brief synopsis of each of the 8 limbs. In this video, we're going to break down the Yamas and the Niyamas, specifically talking about how we can begin to practice those principles in our bodies, and if you're a yoga instructor, how you can begin to teach these and share these practices with your students. If that resonates for you and you are looking to expand your personal practice, or you're looking to grow and expand your offerings as a yoga instructor and space holders, then this is definitely the video for you. You are in the right place. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the other videos within the series, and give it a like so that the YouTube algorithm recommends more of my videos to you. Give your girl a little boost. It's much appreciated. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So if you watched the previous video that I did in episode 1, where I was breaking down the 8 limbs, you know that the Yamas and the Niyamas are the first and second of the 8 limbs. And the Yamas are basically the 5 social ethics within yoga. So the first term within the Yamas is Ahimsa. And that means non-harm or non-violence. And that doesn't only speak of externally what we do to other folks, but it's first embodied by how we focus on non-harming ourselves. What does that look like to really embody non-harm to the self? So a lot of the times when I hear teachers sharing this term, they're sharing it from an external perspective as to how we can avoid causing harm or violence to another person. However, we want to first ask ourselves, how am I harming, or how am I being violent towards my own body, and how can I reduce that? So how can I be non-harming in my thoughts? What am I saying to myself? In my words, what am I speaking to my own vessel? And in my actions, what types of actions of harm or non-harm do I take towards my own body? The second term within the Yamas is Satya, which is truthfulness. What I always say is that truthfulness is first cultivated in the belly, and the very last place that it's expressed is through your words. We can only be as truthful as we are with ourselves. So consider, how do I allow myself to embody aspects of truthfulness, which I like to call honesty and authenticity. Do I give myself permission to be very authentic, or do I withhold my authenticity because I'm afraid of losing something? How well do I allow myself to accept things that are very uncomfortable seeing about myself? Those are all practices of truthfulness. Astaya, which is the third term within the Yamas, is non-stealing. And we can look at that very matter-of-factly, don't take from others, but also noticing, what other ways can I steal? Can I take from someone else, or can I take from other things around me? Am I appropriating something from someone else to esteem myself or make myself appear better? Or am I embodying some sort of lack, which makes me feel like I need to take from somewhere else, right? So those are the things we want to become more aware of, so that we can avoid doing that. Because in Hindu and Indian traditions, these types of patterns ultimately cause us more suffering. They seem like we're winning on the external front, but in the back end, in the subconscious mind, there's a cycle of suffering that's causing us to make that action. And it's actually taking from us more than we're actually gaining. One of the ways that I encourage teachers to share Astaya or teach Astaya, non-stealing, when you're guiding a practice, is through self-agency, giving folks the permission to explore agency in their body and their practice, so they're less likely to want to take from somewhere else. So Agency is one of the ways we can really begin to avoid stealing or taking from somewhere, because we start to become more empowered by the space that we hold. The fourth term within the Yamas is Brahmacharya, which means moderation. And historically, when I learned about this was in relation to abstinence. But moderation can happen in multiple places. How can we be less gluttonous in aspects of our lives? I don't need more of something. I need to be in alignment with myself and my vessel so that I'm not spurred to overindulge or become gluttonous in a certain area. Aparigraha, or non-grasping, non-clinging, non-hoarding, is the fifth term within the Yamas. And this one is even challenging for me. I find that I tend to cling on to things for fear of abandonment or fear of losing something. And one of the ways that I've really started to practice this non-grasping is from non-performative living, removing the need to overachieve, to perform, seek validation for something that I didn't feel like I was affirmed in as a child, by beginning to affirm myself there so that I'm not clinging as if I don't have enough. That is a trauma-based belief that is not actually my reality. One of the ways that I feel like as teachers we can really teach this in a yoga practice is to advise our students to avoid grasping onto postures that feel big. What is it about that posture that makes you feel like you want to push beyond your growth zone to achieve it? But rather where we can come to a place of resolve, a place of solution, so that we can settle in our body without pushing for more. Oof, my foot's falling asleep. Give me a second. It's okay. We back. Moving on to the Niyamas, which are the personal practices. These are things that we want to do more of. So the first term within the Niyamas is Satya, which means purity or cleanliness. It's really easy to look at this in an external way. Once again, I always say this, it's not about the external. The life is a reflection of the internal. How can I purify and cleanse my own mind so my consciousness is not reflecting my trauma or my dysregulated sensations, but my consciousness is reflecting a pristine, clear reality? How can I almost purify my subconscious mind to do less projecting? And one of the ways that we as teachers and space holders can really teach this limb is through very intentional meditation practices. The second term within the Niyamas is my favorite, and it's Santosha, which means contentment. Contentment is something that constantly has to be practiced, especially for me. In the past, I found myself not very satisfied with my life, which led me to constantly overachieve. And I have to practice contentment, how to allow myself to be satiated in my own body, knowing that I'm worthy and that I am good, not even good enough, but I am good, right? One of the ways that we can practice this or teach this to our students is through slower practices and just learning to settle in your body as opposed to doing more. The third term when it comes to the Niyamas is tapas, also translated as heat or discipline. This is really important. Discipline, however, needs to be balanced. Can't be overly heated and then have no water to cool you. If you are overly watery and don't have any earth or fire to balance you, it causes a lot of emotional dysregulations. So really finding a balance in your discipline and re-educating or reinforming your vessel to learn discipline in a way that feels aligned for you, especially if you have a sour taste to discipline based on the way it was taught to you by authority figures. Okay, this is actually my favorite term. I'm realizing that the Niyamas hold a lot of the terms that I love. The fourth term within the Niyamas is Savidyaya, and that's self-inquiry or self-study. It's the exploration of studying the mind to really examine our true nature so that we can embody that expression, and also study our shadow so that we can eliminate cycles of suffering and walk in greater permission. In the past, I looked at Savadhyaya or self-inquiry just as shadow work. It's so much more. It's also light work. It's about affirming as well. So the more that we can study the mind and study our subconscious mind, and every single one of us has the capability to heal our subconscious mind. The more that we can do this and look at those things that are heavy and process through them, we start to learn more about why we're experiencing this sensation, and that thing starts to lose its power. That emotion, that trauma, that trigger starts to lose its power, and we can actually begin to alchemize it. And one of the ways that I really suggest teachers share this limb with students is through meditation, sit meditation, and pranayama practices. The fifth term within the niyamas is Ishvara Pranidaha. I know I'm not saying that right, but that means devotion or surrender. That's really about aligning with spirit and source, aligning with that and surrendering to it, and moving with spirit to honor spirit, and as a result to honor the self, to honor your vessel as well, which is an extension of spirit. So studying these 8 limbs is really fascinating because they start to plant little seeds to help us become a lot more mindful, or rather give us really practical tools as to how to be mindful. We hear these terms about mindfulness, but what I love about yoga is that it gives us really applicable tools and ways to begin to embody mindfulness. So I hope that this video resonated for you. In our next video, I will be breaking down asana, which is the 3rd limb of the 8 limbs. If you are a yogi and you've been with me for a while and you're maybe considering becoming a yoga instructor, I highly recommend applying for my non-performative yoga teacher training, iyaKIN. We're currently accepting applications for Cohort 4. Beginning March 2nd. The link to apply is in the description box below. I look forward to reviewing your application. In the meantime, y'all, don't forget to follow your girl on the gram at Yoga by Biola. And don't forget to follow Iya at iya.well on Instagram. And I will see you very soon. Continue to be well.